First of all, can we appreciate these? Second of all, sorry about that. Okay.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eva and my channel is called The Inked Reader. Obviously, usually this is not my normal setup, but I just moved. I'm trying to figure out the lighting, where it's the best, where not. I do have a few, just a couple of bookshelves already up. You're actually standing on one of them, which I just painted and not filled up. So yeah, bear with me while I go around the house trying the best place where to film. That will probably be eventually in the studio where I will have my biggest bookshelves, but they are not coming anytime soon, unfortunately, because I'm gonna make them custom made, I think, whenever I can afford it. So in the meantime, we'll just go around the house, find a better space, but lighting wise, the stairs were at this time of the day the best. So yeah, we're gonna have a wrap up on the stairs, which, I mean, I guess it's alright. I hope it's alright. So, what I've read recently. Last time I've done this has been, I think, a month and something, probably a couple of months. I was in the middle of a move, clearly, and I have not been reading as much. Unfortunately, it's just the way it works when you move a house. It's just really, really messy. And there were a lot of things we have to do in new house, so it's just a bit hectic. So I was not able to read as much. However, in the last 2 months, I did read a few books that I'm going to share with you and a few graphic novels. These are books that I am reading outside any reading challenge, so are just random reads that I pick up throughout the months, or just maybe I feel like reading it. Most of them, I just, on a whim, I just pick them up and decide to read them. I tend to just stick to doing these kind of mini wrap-ups every time I read 6 things. However, this time I got 8 things. Actually, I would have way more than 8, but I've read a bunch of mangas in the same series, so I consider just as one thing. And yeah, that's usually, but if I got some manga or graphic novels, I might got a bit past 6 things, just because it takes a bit less to review some of them. The statistics. So I've read a total of 5 books, with which 3 were audiobooks and 2 were physical books. Because I'm doing a lot of things in the new house, it's just easier to like get an audiobook in my ears while I do other stuff. So I've read mostly in that way in the last few months, which I'm not super happy. I miss reading, physical reading, but I'm getting back into it at night. So yeah. And then I've read 3 comics. However, one of these I actually read way more. It's just that I finished the series and there are a bunch of volumes which I'm going to show you in a second. So as far as genre goes, I've read 1 contemporary, 1 literary fiction, 1 sci-fi. 4 things are in the category of urban fantasy. I'm gonna go in a bit more details regarding the genre, regarding fantasy when I go there, as I've done a whole video about fantasy genres and reading books in the genre. So I'm gonna give you more specific while I go through the books by link up here and down below the video where I go through all the fantasy genres basically. So you're more than welcome to watch that. And then I've read 1 non-fiction book. And as far as the rating goes, 1 thing it was in the range of 2 stars, 5 things were in the range of 3 stars, and then 2 things were in the range of 4 stars. I'll go chronologically. So the first thing I've actually finished was Nana. So I've read all volumes. I think last time I wrapped up, I was gonna read volume 13. I might have already read these, I don't remember. But anyway, I finished all the volumes that are out for Nana. I'm just gonna pick 1. But to be fair, I think I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've read at least 8, if not 9. So Nana, this is a manga contemporary, and it's the story of these 2 girls. They're both called Nana. They meet on a train to Tokyo. One is going to join his boyfriend who recently moved there. The other Nana, she is going to go to Tokyo to make it as a solo artist, and as she used to be in a band and her boyfriend left her and left the band to sign up with a more famous band, so she is determined to go to Tokyo and make it in the music industry as he did. A bit of a revenge, a bit of, as it was her life dream anyway. and their lives intertwine. And this is really dramatic. It's really famous in the manga world, so I'm not gonna go into much details. I gave overall whole volumes some 3.5, 3.75, some 4, 4.5. On average, I would give the series 4 stars. It would be probably more if it wasn't for the fact that the whole series is left unfinished, is uncompleted. So the author got sick, and it was many years ago, and never continued on. And I personally think this is really a pity, because the last 2 volumes live on a heartbreaking, terrible, and I don't even know how to describe cliffhanger, and it really does feel incomplete. It didn't even feel like, you know, some open ending or something like that. It just really feels like there's much more to tell, and you're just left us like that. And I personally thought if I was the author of something like this, I would have just given the rights of the story to someone else was I was sick, just to make sure that the story was completed, because I don't think, as a fan of Nana, it's a good service to just leave you hanging like that. They say that she might do in the future other volumes, but it's just, I don't know. It's been said for many years and nothing came out. So as a fan, I'm a bit disappointed, although I understand the author. I would just hope that she decides to give it to someone else to explain the story if she doesn't feel like drawing this. Just, you know, pass on the story. You created a legacy anyway. So yeah, it just feels really incomplete. It is a roller coaster of emotions. It's just, I love Nana. I really love Nana, and the way it ends, it's just heavy, and I just wished we had more to go on with. That I just wish that the story was finished at least. Then I actually listened to Deadlands, Ghostwalker, and this is a series of companion novels that a bunch of famous authors are putting out based on a video game which I did not play, and the author is Mayberry, Jonathan Mayberry, if I'm not mistaken. I was just on a script, I just found it and decided to give it a try. And this, to get back to what I mentioned about genre, this would be a fantasy, alternative history fantasy, sci-fi. Check the video if you want to know what I mean. But basically, you got US, where at one point in California there was a major earthquake and the territories became divided, and a sort of post-apocalyptic America is where we find ourselves in at the beginning of the story. And we got a mercenary who's just minding his own business when he gets across this Indian man who's being abused by a bunch of cops, and he decides to intervene, and he saves the Indian, and the Indian has kind of a job for him. And I really enjoyed the writing. I really enjoyed the sassiness of the writing. I really appreciate his writing style, and it is a bit of a pity that he does only this kind of genre, in the sense that I do like westerns, which was definitely this is, but with a bunch of westerns with horror elements and a lot of post-apocalyptic elements and zombies, which I do not like. So it was awesome writing, some western elements which I really enjoyed. All the rest, it was okay. Plot-wise, I didn't really care too much. I believe it's just because I'm not really into that kind of fantasy genre, sci-fi. However, I did enjoy overall the experience. I listened to all of it. A lot of audiobook I just leave, DNF if you want. So the fact that I pushed this through is because of the writing. There were elements I liked. It's action-packed. There's no one moment that was quiet. Character-wise, I enjoyed a few of them. I really enjoyed the kind of main protagonist and his companion, and the female protagonist character. I really enjoyed her. But yeah, I will definitely be on the lookout for the author to see if he does anything else which is not related to maybe zombies and so on. I will give it a try. But it was free on script. I really enjoyed it. I will probably maybe continue on with the companions. One is written by Shannon McGuire, so I might try that one as well. But yeah, you can find them on script. And overall, if you like mayhem, zombies, post-apocalyptic, good writing, this is definitely for you. Then I have read Merupuri, Volume 1. This is by Matsuri Hino. I believe I picked this up because I really enjoyed another series by her, and this one is about this magical world where you can travel to a normal world basically, and you got this little kid He is one prince of his magical world, and he gets cursed by his older brother, and someone else in the court, basically to save him from this curse, sends him to the normal world, where he travels through this talisman, this kind of jewel that this normal girl has it. So one day she's just walking, and from this jewel she has, this little boy comes out. But also every time this prince little boy is really a kid and gets left in the dark, he grows. So he kind of grows like 10 years or something. So you have this kind of girl at one point pining after this kid who becomes like a young man, and then he gets back to be a kid when she kisses him. I give this 2 stars. I really enjoyed the other series by her, but I found this a bit disturbing. I mean, I cannot reconcile my mind with the fact that yes, he does grow into a young man, but at the end of the day, his brain and the way he behaves are still like of a little boy. It's just his body that is growing, and that she knows, so she's not like really throwing herself at him, but she's kind of struggling. And even the fact that she is struggling, for me, is a bit I found these really cringy. I really like the art. I'm gonna show you some, and it's just 4 volumes, so I might finish the series and then sell it. I just didn't want to go through all of it, but I thought since I've got them, I might read them. I might try to sell them, and if I sell them, good. If I read them in the meantime, I sell them, good. But it sounds really cliche and really weird, the fact that at the end of the day we're dealing with a kid. Yes, he's in a hot young adult man body sometimes, but he's still really a kid, and it just doesn't sit well with me. Sorry. Then I have read on a whim one night. I picked up Every Earth a Doorway by Shannon McGuire, and it's really famous. Is a fantasy. It's a portal fantasy. Again, you can watch the video to know exactly what I mean, but this is a portal fantasy where you got a bunch of kids returning from their own magical worlds. Can be like Narnia, Alice in Wonderland, all of the kind of worlds where these kids traveled at one point in their life through a portal to another world. And now some of these kids, when they come back, if they come back, they are not really happy to be back because they adjust to a new world, and the parents are really struggling with them. They don't know what to do with them. So this lady, who herself has been to a world, and she knows how it is to feel like, being back home and just not wanting to be there, she goes to the parents and says, I can take them to my boarding school where they will adjust again to life. And yeah, so these are companions books, I believe. You go back and forth in time a little bit regarding this school and these children and their world. Now, I had a wrong idea, so I thought that every book was related to one of his children when he traveled back to their world or when he was in their world, and it's not like this. So this one does not take place in any other place if not the boarding school in our own modern world. So just be aware that I'm not going to go into the plot because again, it's so short that it's going to spoil everything, but it's more murder mystery, I would say. And this was weird. This was fucked up and weird, and I didn't even mind the fact that I knew who was the baddie kind of from the beginning. I was so fascinated by the world, by the dynamics of this school and these characters. I really did not mind. It's just the weird fucked up thing that I really enjoy. And so sign me up. I'll be reading the other ones. I immediately bought all the others. I just really enjoyed it, and it's such a short read. 4.5 stars, 4.75 stars. I love this so much. I think it's almost a 5 stars basically, so I might change this to 5 stars whether I decide when I'm editing this. Then I've I've listened to The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell on Script. Found that it was really popular on BookTube around a few months ago, so I decided to give it a try. This is, again, I put this in urban fantasy genre, but it would be probably a low fantasy. And also portal fantasy if you want, to a certain degree. We got time travel here, so you got modern society. This girl has to travel back in time and retrieve a special book which will save magicians in the past as well as in the future. And she travels basically back in time to help with the haste to gather the book, with the idea to then get that book to modern society, basically. And of course, there are a bunch of troubles along the way, there is a magician along the way, and all of that. Did I like this? Yes or no? Yes, I've enjoyed it. No, I've not loved it. Yes, I found it cleverly crafted. No, I didn't find it absolutely new for the genre. Yes, I like the characters. No, I don't remember their names. And yes, I did like the final twist very much. But the rest of the twists, I called the majority of them. So yes, I will continue on with the series, but no, not anytime soon. I don't know if it makes sense, but it's just a mixed bag. I gave it 3.75 stars. I did enjoy it. I just didn't love it as the majority of other people seem to do. But we already established many months ago that, you know, there is something probably wrong with me. So don't take my word for granted. I think is, if you like the genre, if you like fantasy, portals, time travel, haste, it's definitely worth a try. I did not regret to read it. It's just that once that kind of felt in the middle for me, to a certain degree. Then I have read Courtney Crumrin, Volume 2, this is The Coven of the Mystics by Ted Nathan. Let me show you some of the art that can be shown. So this is urban fantasy again, I would say middle grade graphic novel, which I bought many years ago. It took me ages to get along to read the second volume. I got the first one as well, but because I didn't particularly enjoy the first one, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read the second one. I think this is just too childish for me. I don't know, I didn't love the first one, so I thought I was gonna just sell those. But I absolutely loved this one. I probably gave it 5 stars, if I'm not mistaken, or 4.5, 4.75 stars when I edited to put it down here. And this is just about this little girl. She is the niece of a powerful magician. She goes to live with him, and she lives in this mansion near a kind of enchanted wood. And she gets in the wood to go to school, and she gets in a lot of trouble. A lot of magical things are going on. And this one was amazing. I really enjoyed it. All the adventures she goes in. Courtney, she is awesome. She's sassy. She's just the best. I really enjoyed her as a character. I really enjoy that she's a great character. The drawing, as you can see, amazing. Love the style. Love the adventure we go in. So kind of horror-ish, and you know, this guy here, it was almost scary. This almost unsettled me, and for middle grade, I mean, wow. So yeah, definitely I will continue on with the series, and I think it's quirky. I think it's not unique, but really well done, and with twists that I would not expect for a middle grade. It goes a bit darker than the normal middle grade, and I absolutely loved it. Then on Scribd, I think it's considered a modern classic, and it's called The Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Sorry, I'm really butchering the name, I'm sorry. It's a novel about this woman. She is, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was born half white, half black, and it's about just her life in USA. It takes place many decades ago. There are some parts of the story that I really enjoyed. They were really touching. I think it was beautifully written and also beautifully narrated. I really enjoyed the voice of the narrator. She transported me back both times, and her accents and her voices that she would do for the characters. It just made me feel like I was there, so really appreciate that. However, I did not love this. I think I gave this 3 stars. I would have appreciated this if it was more about important topics instead of a love story of this woman. And I think this woman goes through a lot in her life, and some things which I would have loved to see more length and more described, and I would just have loved to see her and hear about her emotions and thoughts more. They are kind of not brushed, but rushed, definitely, while we focus a lot on her relationships with these men. Which, let's not get into the men themselves and how, you know, abusive they were. I think it was all about this woman finding love, and I thought that I would have preferred if this was more about this woman finding something else rather than just love. I don't know if it makes sense, but I I kind of thought this was a literary fiction, first of all. Also, sorry, I didn't mention that. But I just wanted more. I just wanted more in-depth discussions or her life, hard parts of her life, and less about her love stories. And instead we got, this is a love story at the end of the day, with some hints and some powerful messages subtly woven in regarding racism and how things were, which I really appreciated. I just wished there were more about this woman fighting for justice, more than this woman fighting for men that at the end of the day didn't think they deserved her. And so, yeah, 3 stars. And then finally I've read a non-fiction which is called Quiet by Susan Cain. Since I got a bunch of tabs here. This is a non-fiction all about introverts and the power of introverts, what it means, how it looks like, studies that I've done on the 2 different personalities, so extroverts and introverts, and just in general, is a really informative books if you're an introvert, or if you wish, or you know someone who's an introvert, you just want to understand. And it took me ages to go through with this, so I gave this around 3.5 stars, I believe. I learned a lot from this, so I'm grateful for that. However, I did not particularly enjoy writing, apart from the end. There is like a chapter in the end, the very last one, I think, I really loved it, the message. But I would also say that she can come across, at least from my perception, quite not judgmental, but she's definitely say being introverted is better. She doesn't say that like out loud, but she doesn't have to. And I think if you're an extrovert reading these, personally, I think it might not offensive, but it looks like in some places extroverts came out as being these kind of happy dogs that would just bounce on everybody and just, they want just to lick the face of everybody and just be happy. She just gave me across that vibe of introverts being overall more achieving, better, more intelligent, and all of that. And I was extremely happy that I am an introvert, so I didn't take offense. But thinking from someone who knows and has got enough family out of extroverts, they don't come out in the best light, in my opinion. I don't think it's the meaning of the book. I don't think she wants to put bad light on the extroverts at all. I just think it kind of happens naturally when you go down this route for such a lengthy book. I think it just was a side effect, to be honest. But I don't know, I didn't particularly love her writing, I guess. And I think, not bragging, I don't know, I didn't click with her as I was expecting, but I think she definitely did the research. She's definitely a clever woman who put together a really informative book with a bunch of really interesting studies. I will revise these and use these with some children I work with that are definitely introverted. It really taught me a lot, so I would definitely say it is a really good read. It's just I kind of try to separate it like my personal and professional thing. So when I read this as a professional, I really appreciated it. When I read this as just personal for enjoyment, it was a bit draggy in some places. It was really long. It took me ages to read, and I just don't know, in some parts, as someone who knows a lot of extroverts, I was like, they don't come out in the best light. But I would say if you're an introvert, definitely have a look at this. Or if you know a lot of people that are introverts and you're an extrovert and you want to know more, then that's great. Overall, as someone might like to read and learn, that's a good one, but it's not the best one I've read. It's not something that I will ever reread from the beginning to the end, if it makes sense, but I'm glad that I once read it. Thank you for sticking around until the end, if you did. I'm gonna see you next time, wherever I'm gonna be in the house, whenever I can find the proper lighting, who knows, it's gonna be a surprise. Let me know if I'll probably do bookshelves too once I'm done, if you're interested in that. I'm really happy on how they're coming along. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek, maybe one. So yeah, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day, night, depending where you are, and I'll see you next time. Ciao! I'm gonna show you a sneak peek of what I meant of, where I was actually filming my bookshelves. 1 second. So actually, I was filming there. It's still empty. I'm waiting for it to dry properly. And this is one of the bookshelves that have started to come along. It's just mainly mangas, and I love the flowers that are there, and just it's still a bit empty, but I do want to have space for the books and mangas where I will buy them. So I like that they're actually a bit empty. And yeah, I really love how it looks coming down stairs with these beautiful flowers. So yeah, this is just a sneak peek. We can get more details when I do a proper tour. But yeah, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!